My name is Kristian Sorge. I'm the owner of Limited to One. It's a record shop here in the East Village in New York City. We specialize in rare, hard to find, out of print, mostly contemporary music, focusing on independent music, punk, hardcore, indie rock, hip hop, indie hip hop. We opened Limited to One last August 1-ish, so we're heading on 11 months. The idea from the shop came from, I do a podcast called Record Nerdz with a Z, where we talk about collecting and limited vinyl and just general nerdy vinyl shit. And me and my friends were on the podcast discussing ideally what would be our best record store, and I've seen a few things, like a few different aspects in different shops that I really loved, and a few ideas I had of my own. We did these OB strips. I could just show you here. Look, it has all the information, the name, the price. We grade everything, so people don't have to check the grading. It's a general grade, obviously. We try to be as conservative as possible, but this way you're not taking a record home and finding out it has a huge scratch on it or whatever. We have a tendency to try not to buy anything too damaged. We like really clean records. We also put all the pressing information too, where it was pressed, if that's pertinent. If it's a limited press, what color the vinyl is, that sort of thing. It was just an idea we had of wouldn't it be great if we went in a record shop and all that information was on there. I spent so much time going in record shops, looking my collection up to see if I own it. I don't want to buy doubles anymore. I have to see what condition it's in, and if all that stuff was summed up, that'd be great. The other idea of the shop was, I love going in and seeing really high-end records, not expensive, but high-end, or rare, There's definitely a difference between rare and hard to find or expensive. So I had the idea of making a shop filled with wall records, records you go in, you look at the wall, you go, wow, I've never seen that before, but then you go in the bins and there's still rare stuff in there. Also, the other thing I wanted was a very clean aesthetic. I didn't want a lot of fluff. I didn't want a lot of stuff on the ground. I didn't want a lot of beat up crates on the ground. I appreciate the diggers out there, the people who go and are looking for soul samples and all that stuff, but that's not really what I do. So the shop isn't really aimed at that. We do have a creative soul if somebody really wants to go through that, but we don't specialize in that sort of thing. And then the other thing was I just wanted to do a shop that focused on contemporary music, whatever that means. I would go into record shops and I would look through and I literally would say, do you have any used records made past 1990? You know what I mean? And most shops are nope, sorry. And I was wouldn't it be great if you went into a shop that had sections devoted to contemporary used music? That just doesn't exist often in shops. There are definitely shops out there that have that, but if a shop focused on that, I thought that would be really interesting. There's a lot of different types of collectors out there. There are people out there who are strictly audiophiles. They want the best pressing, they want it to sound the best, they want it to be sourced from the best material, they want it mastered by the best. And then there are people who are enjoy the collectability about it. And those are people maybe who are they want to make sure it's the most limited press, or they want a first press and not a later repressed, and a lot of stores they won't tell you that information. You'll come home and you'll be oh, this was made last year. I had no idea this is sourced from a CD, I had no idea. Depending on how you like to collect, I think it's important, that information. Some people don't care, but for them, it's still nice for them to know, maybe they don't like the way colored vinyl sounds, or maybe they only collect black vinyl or something. So it's easier to have that stuff information, opening up a record, checking all that. And the grading is really helpful too. You don't want to take something home and have it beat up or whatever. So it's nice to see, younger people coming into the shop and having an interest in vinyl, you know, like I did when I was a kid. So that's nice to see, sort of that changing of the guard a little bit.